Black and gold fans, college football fans, welcome in or welcome back to the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, where we examine, discuss, celebrate, and honor all things college football across the entire college football landscape, but with a special emphasis on our beloved black and gold squad of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Thanks, guys. Welcome back. I'm your usual host, Blair Parks. Holla at you, boy. It's great to be back with you this week. Today's date, it is the 13th of July, and college football season is inching closer and closer and closer. We are almost there, guys. I cannot wait. The Phil Steele magazine, it's Nudie Magazine Day, hit the shelves about a week ago. All of the preseason mags are out there to buy and just look through once, twice, front to back to front, and then all over again. I cannot wait. I'm not quite ready to wish the summer away quite yet, but another week or two, yeah, we can just skip August and go right to September. But anyway, it's great to be back here with you guys. Please feel free, spread the love, spread the word, tell your friends, all of your fellow college football fanatics, family, to check me out here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, where this is a safe haven, a welcoming spot for all college football fans. You don't have to don or root for the black and gold. I mean, then again, nobody is perfect. Everybody is welcome here, and I highly ask you, beg you, and encourage you to get involved. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, hit that button that says subscribe, get notifications, spread the word about the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, and help me find more college football fans just like you. Today's episode is a first time that I've done this here in the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. Coming up, 2023 will be the third season that I've been here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. And normally during my Crystal Ball, my bold predictions episode, which will be coming out in a couple weeks, referencing the upcoming 2023 college football season, I've always included a couple of my best bet win totals. And I've done very well. I have never lost one of these the last 2 years. I am batting 1,000 perfect. So today, I invite you to join me on this episode. Take my advice, because there is one thing that all of us can rally and get behind, regardless of our fandom and team of choice, the colors that we don, whatever name is on the jersey or symbol is on the helmet. We can all get behind making a little bit of easy money. Dinero, cash, pounds, Deutschmark, dough, bread, however you want to word it. So today I'm going to do a quick episode just giving you, the Touchdown Black and Gold family, and all of you college football fans, my best bet win totals for the upcoming 2023 college football season. And I am so excited. And it's my pleasure, it's almost like my responsibility and my duty to help you increase your financial situation. I want you to be better off financially. I want to help you have that wallet get fatter, that purse get heavier. It's my absolute just pleasure and responsibility to help you with that. So what I did, I chose my 10 most favorite, my 10 best bet win totals. I didn't worry about focusing on the non-Power 5, so I picked 10 Power 5 teams. And these best bet win totals are coming direct from BetMGM out in Las Vegas. And the last time this was updated was July 9th. So these over-under win totals may have increased or decreased quite slightly. I would think maybe Northwestern's, which was already 3.5, people are probably just killing the under bet now after the firing of long tenured coach Pat Fitzgerald, which we'll get to that here a little bit later in this episode. So these are my 10 best bet win totals among Power 5 teams, and it really worked out pretty nice. I was able to identify 2 from each conference. So it's nice to kind of spread the love around and look at this conference and that conference, who I think is going to eclipse their win totals or who are not going to quite get there and come a little bit under. And also what I did with the following 10 teams and win totals that I will share with you, I also included an additional confidence pick with those. Now, trust me, all 10 of these are going to be winners. You put money down, you're going to win. Might I lose 1 or 2? Possibly, but I feel that good about it, guys. I have never lost one of these, okay? Now, it's tough for me to kind of just bet game by game, doing the spread, but I do have a very good eye and a talent to look at a roster, look at the schedule, who's coming back, when is this team playing that team, at home, on the road, is it a potential look-ahead spot or a letdown spot? I look at those very deeply, and I've had great success, just like Barat would say. So without further ado, and the confidence picks, I gave those a 1 through 5, with 5 being the lowest amount of confidence, and 1 being, hey, feel free to put down the deed on your house because you're going to win money. It's just that simple, okay? Now, don't hold me to that. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. For you bettors out there, it's your final say-so. I don't want anyone to potentially come back and say, Blair, you told me to do this. I'm not saying that at all. I'll be putting a little bit of money down this year. Last year, I was given $100 by my wife to say, hey, why don't you go ahead and bet and see how you do? And definitely turned out pretty well. So I think I'm going to get a little bit larger of an allowance this year to play with. But without further ado, guys, let's get into my 10 best bet win totals here. And please subscribe, like, share, rate, comment. If you agree or disagree with my picks, let me know. And also, based on the criteria, based on the information and my and the info and my sources, that's how I'll be able to back these up if I think this team or that team is going to go over or under. So please get involved. Let your voice be heard. I promise I will get back to you individually sooner than later via the comments. So here we go. Let's go ahead and start off with my number 5 confidence picks. First one up out of the mighty SEC are the Bulldogs and more cowbell from Starkville, the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Currently, their win total via BetMGM is 6.5. Now, last year I was high on the Bulldogs. I think last year it also was 6.5. I told you guys during my initial bold predictions episode, take the over because I'm all about Mike Leach's air raid offense, and with quarterback Will Rogers, conducting that orchestra, it's a thing of beauty. Unfortunately, the untimely, surprising passing of Coach Mike Leach last year, right before the bowl game. There is a new administration in town, new coach, and a different philosophy. It's going to be more ball control the lines of scrimmage. The defensive coordinator, Arnett, took over. So the air raid is gone. So 6.5. This year, I'm not as high on them, but I do think they can get to 7 wins. I mean, you look at their non-conference schedule alone, the only really non-cupcake they play a improved Arizona Wildcats team, but it's in Starkville. So if they win those 4, there's 4 wins right there. And I do think they can find 3 conference victories because I do put my faith in quarterback Will Rogers. And quite frankly, if Coach Mike Leach would still be with us, Will Rogers would absolutely be one of my 4 Heisman Trophy finalists that I would predict right here and now. The guy's that good. How he can just go ahead and toss it all over the playground. So take the over for the Bulldogs at 6.5. Now my second number 5 confidence pick, I'm going to go with Oregon from the Pac-12. Right now, BetMGM has pegged Oregon as 9.5. Guys, I'm going to say go under this number. All right. I love Oregon. The Pac-12, this really doesn't reflect Oregon, okay, guys? But there is no doubt. I don't care what conference you're affiliated with, who you root for, if it's one of the big two, the SEC or the Big Ten. The Pac-12 is where it's at this year, guys. As far as quarterback play especially, it is absolutely the most loaded and going to be the most competitive Power 5 conference without a doubt this season. It's going to be must-see TV. Stay up late, drink your coffee, get your caffeine. You definitely want to pay attention this year. So Oregon under 9.5, here's why. When you look at their schedule, guys, it is the toughest draw within the Pac-12. Now, this year, the Pac-12 has done away with divisions, so it's only the top two will play in the Pac-12 conference title game. Oregon, they draw both Washington and Utah on the road. They host both USC and Oregon State. And those four teams, along with Oregon, those are the teams that I believe are going to mix it up for those top two spots. And quite frankly, I'm just a little bit higher on a couple other of those teams, not Oregon. And also don't forget, week 2, very early, they traveled down to Lubbock to take on a much improved Texas Tech squad that, telling you guys, you better not be sleeping on Texas Tech. I do believe, well, I'm not going to give it away. You have to watch my Crystal Ball Bowl Predictions episode. But some of those out there might be thinking that Texas Tech could potentially be this year's TCU squad. Okay? Just saying. You're not hearing it from me directly. All right? But it's just a tough schedule for Oregon. And quite frankly, I can't unsee some of the things that quarterback Bo Nix did in his Auburn days. I just think at some point he's going to try to do a little bit too much and get himself in trouble. So I'm telling you guys, take Oregon under 9.5. Now let's move on to my number 4 confidence picks of the 10 total teams that I'm giving you. First, number 4, the newest member of the Big 12. Well, one of the 4 newest members. I'm going with the UCF, the Central Florida Knights under Coach Gus Malzahn. Currently, BetMGM has them at 6.5. I'm going to tell you right now to go over 6.5. I've got a good feeling about UCF. I mean, right now, this season and moving forward, you talk about a sleeping giant down there in South Central Florida. I mean, they have a student body of 80,000 people. It's something ridiculous like that. The largest student body in the country. I mean, you live in the recruit-rich state of Florida, all right? Florida's a little bit down. Miami's a little bit down. And I like where UCF is. And I say over 6.5 because that schedule this year, their initial inaugural year within the Big 12, their schedule is not bad at all, guys. I'm telling you, it's not Charmin soft like Georgia. I mean, this year's Georgia, even though, how much better can you be? I mean, Georgia's already the back-to-back defending 2-time national champion. When you look at their SEC schedule, it's Charmin soft. It's a joke. It's like the Georgia Invitational. UCF's schedule isn't quite that easy, but it's not that difficult either. Let me just go ahead and look at their schedule real quick. Off the top of my head, I have, it's kind of, I'm getting a little bit old in my age here. So let's go ahead and see UCF. Where are you at? Here we are. Give me 1 second here, guys. So UCF's schedule, where are you at? Central Florida. I think they go, I know they travel to Boise State at some point. That's going to be a tough game for them. There's no doubt about that. Here we go. So UCF schedule within the conference. Yep, they do go to Boise State. That's always a tough game to go to the Smurf turf. But within conference, guys, they're at Kansas State. That's a tough game. They host Baylor, at Kansas, at Oklahoma. Maybe you win one of those 2 games. They host West Virginia, who's quite frankly bad. And Neil Brown, start packing early. I'm just telling you right now. They go to Cincinnati, who lost their stud coach Luke Fickell to the Wisconsin Badgers. They host Oklahoma State, who's going to be down, go to Texas Tech, and then host Houston. So I definitely think they can get to 7 wins fairly simply. I really have a good feeling about UCF eclipsing that 6.5 win total. So my next, let's see here, where do we go? Let me get back to my, here we go. So now my next number 4, other than UCF, I'm going to stay within the Big 12, guys. And this was a tough pill for me to swallow, but sometimes you just got to think with both your head and your heart on this one. My second number 4 is from the Big 12 is the TCU Horned Frogs. That's right. Currently, they're pegged at 7.5 victories. I'm telling you right now, go low, take the under on TCU. Definitely a little bit of fall from grace from last year's Cinderella team that made a run to the college football playoff. They crashed the party. I mean, when you look at what they lost from a roster perspective to the NFL and graduation and transfer portal, and they play an absolute murderer's row of within the Big 12 conference. I just don't see this team getting to 8 wins, guys. I just don't. I love to see it because, by the way, this guy last year did tell you that TCU would get to the Big 12 title game. So I wasn't that surprised what they did, but surprised that they went to the college football playoff? Absolutely. So it does hurt me to say that about TCU, but take under TCU 7.5 victories. They're just not going to get there with their schedule within conference. So now let's move on to my number 3s, my 3 confidence picks of the 10 teams that I'm sharing with you. Please subscribe, click the notification button, comment, like, share, rate. Let me know what you think about my picks, if you agree, disagree, about my commentary, or if there's another team that you think is going to go above or below based on BetMGM. Let me know. Give me a holler, and I'll definitely try to work you onto the show next time. Appreciate you. So now my number 3 confidence picks. So these are the ones I'm starting to feel really, really good about. I'm going to start off in the ACC. I'm going with Virginia Tech, the Hokies. Right now, they're pegged at 3.5 victories. I'm telling you guys right now, go big or go home. Take the over on Virginia Tech. Last year was a year to forget for last season for first-year coach Pry. But this year, they're going to do better. I mean, I don't think they're going to get to bowl eligibility again, which is back-to-back years. I mean, how crazy is that to think about? After all the years of Beamer ball, growing up and seeing how successful and steady and constant that program was. But 3.5, take the over. They definitely will benefit from a pretty soft schedule, and they will absolutely get to 4 wins this year. I feel really good about the Hokies getting to 4, so take them to go the over. Now my second number 3 confidence pick, I'm going to go to my home conference of the Big Ten, and I'm going with the Gers. That's right, Rutgers. Currently, Rutgers is pegged at 3.5 victories. Guys, once again, go big or go home. Take Rutgers on the over. This is hands down Coach Greg Schiano's most experienced, deepest team during his second term as the coach there at Rutgers. I mean, they're not going to be contenders, okay, within the Big Ten East, which is going to be absolutely loaded. You talk about a division that's must-see TV. Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State will probably all be preseason top 8, maybe top 6, top 7 teams, and they will be. So they're not going to contend for a Big Ten East title. Okay, I'm not saying, let it all ride on Rutgers, but getting to 4 victories, I definitely expect them to get there, and they'll be making you some money. So it's great to talk good things, to be optimistic about Rutgers, though, isn't it? It's been quite a while. So take the over on 3.5 for Rutgers. Next, guys, let's move now into my number 2 confidence picks. These are the ones that really kind of get my blood flowing. I'm feeling really good for you. Take my advice, put some money down. I mean, you don't have to look very far these days to find a sports betting book or site. You can really do anything online. Go to your local casino all across the nation if sports gambling is allowed in your home state. So let's move on to my number 2 confidence picks among the 10 best bets that I'm sharing with you. Let's start off out west in the Pac-12 conference. Let's go with the UCLA Bruins. Currently, they're pegged at 8.5 victories on the season. Eek. Go under on that one. Like Commodus from Gladiator. Go under 8.5 for UCLA. I mean, look at what they lost last year. I mean, DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is gone. The guy who seemed like he did the Van Wilder there at UCLA was there for a decade. So their quarterback is gone, and they lost so much of their roster. It's really going to be a total reboot this year following those losses for Coach Chip Kelly and the Bruins as they get ready to head to the Big Ten next season. So welcome, UCLA. I can't wait to someday see Iowa play on the hollow ground, the Cathedral. That's the Rose Bowl. I definitely feel a trip out to Cali coming here soon in the future when Iowa does head out west. But it's just too much to ask and expect this team to get to 9 victories, guys. I already told you the Pac-12 is absolutely top-heavy. You've got 5, maybe 6 teams that could advance to the conference title game. And quite frankly, UCLA, they ain't one of them. They're just not. So go under 8.5 for UCLA. But I definitely think moving forward, they definitely will reboot, retool, and be a player in the Big Ten. So my second number 2 confidence pick, and I love this pick, guys, and I'm going to say more about this team later on during my conference previews and even potentially during my crystal ball and bold predictions episode coming at you here in 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to go to the ACC, and I'm going with the Pitt Panthers, all right? Currently, they're pegged via BetMGM at 6.5 victories. Guys, take the over all day long, each and every day, and twice on Sunday for Pitt. They're going to get to 7 victories at least, guys, because this is what they do. They're slow and steady and very businesslike under Coach Pat Narduzzi. All they do is get to 7, 8, 9 wins. They remind me a lot of the Iowa of the ACC. Regardless of their schedule and their roster, they make the best of what they have, and they're going to get you 7 to 8 victories every year during the regular season. They just will, okay? And I really love this team as more of a big surprise shock team, maybe potentially getting to the ACC title game because of their transfer quarterback who transferred within the ACC conference. I'm talking about former Boston College signal caller Phil Jurkovec. I am high on this kid. He's got an NFL future ahead of him. He's got 1 year to shine there at Pitt. So I'm taking Pitt over 6.5. Come on, guys, do it. This is one to where they're begging you to take the over on this, okay? So go big, go over with Pitt at 6.5. So that concludes my number 2 confidence picks. Now I'm going to move on to the ones that are just saying they're begging you to put some money down because they just want to hand you out some money here. They want to make it rain up in here. It's basically like stealing. It's basically like stealing and taking money. All right, it just is. So please listen to these next 2. Put some money down if your heart so desires, if you're the gambling type, because these next 2 are my number 1 confidence picks to hit. Let's start off with my first number 1. Going to the SEC, I'm going with the Tennessee Volunteers. Right now, currently, they're pegged at 9.5 victories. Guys, that ain't going to happen, okay? And 9.5, that's a big number, okay? And more often than not, a lot of these best bet win totals, when they're first published, and if they move up or move down, they're really reflective of what happened last season. And remember, last year I was all about Tennessee, guys. Their win total, I believe, was 6.5, I think. maybe 7.5, but I said take the over. This is easy money. And I even told you if you wanted to make a little $5 or $10 side bet Hendon Hooker to be a Heisman Trophy finalist. He definitely would have been if he wouldn't have gotten hurt. Hell, he could have even hoisted the trophy at the end of the season if he didn't get himself hurt. So I was big on Tennessee last year, but this year I am completely not. Go under 9.5 for Tennessee. They lost the aforementioned quarterback stud to the NFL, Hendon Hooker, and their stud wide receivers have moved on. Now, I know that Joe Milton in last year's bowl game against Clemson, I believe, looked the part. He looked very good, but I can't unsee what I saw of him at Michigan and also at Tennessee because he was the starter before being dethroned by Hendon Hooker. So there is no way that Tennessee is going to get to 10 wins, guys. They're just not. I love Rocky Top. I'm glad they're back and that, they're back on the national scene. But go under 9.5 for Tennessee, guys. I mean, don't even think about taking the over this time. Don't. All right? Now, my number one confidence pick, I'm going to go ahead and share with you just after my little swig of water here. And to remind you to please subscribe, click the notification button. If you like what you're seeing and what you're hearing, great. Tell me about it. Comment, like, share, rate. I want to hear from you, the Black and Gold family, all of you college football fanatics alike. Please get involved. Let me hear you. Get involved. I want to hear from you, and I can't wait to have a good discussion with you guys. So, my number one confidence pick, and it hits right here at home because it's once again like begging to be taken. Out of the Big Ten, my very own Iowa Hawkeyes, guys. That's right. You can't script this any better. I know what some of you might be saying, he's being a little Homer Simpson. I'm not, okay? And I'll share with you why. Currently, BetMGM has Iowa pegged at 7.5 victories. Take the over, guys. I mean, over, under. Over, under, done, like airplane. Go over Iowa 7.5, because here's why, all right? Iowa has 16 starters returning. They vastly improved their offense via the transfer portal. And their schedule this year, guys, is the absolute outlier. I mean, and plus, when you look at what Iowa has done under the tenure of Coach Kirk Ferentz, what do they do during the regular season? Regardless of what they have roster-wise or their schedule, what do? They win 7 to 8 games. I know it's 7.5, but during the Coach Kirk Ferentz era, I did this math last season. I think they were averaging 8.2 wins a year during the regular season. And with the schedule too, guys, I mean, you've got to take Iowa with the over because all of those factors. I mean, the schedule, I'll tell you right now, they don't draw Michigan or Ohio State from the East. They do have to travel to Happy Valley to take on Penn State during the whiteout, so good luck. We'll see what happens there for my Hawkeyes. But then they also get Michigan State and Rutgers at home from the East. And if you remember, there was 3, but now 4 new coaches within the Big Ten West Division now. You've got Luke Fickell up at Wisconsin, Matt Rule at Nebraska, the defensive coordinator, former Illinois Walters, left Illinois to become the head man at Purdue. And just breaking a couple days ago, Pat Fitzgerald is out at Northwestern. So it's really going to come down in the West Division, guys, about culture, identity, and steadiness and stability. That's what it's going to come down to. I mean, in Iowa, they host Purdue, they host Illinois, they host Minnesota, they play Northwestern at Wrigley Field. I mean, they go to Wisconsin, that's going to be a tough game, and to Nebraska on Black Friday. But their schedule, guys, I mean, you've got to take the over. They're going to get to 8 victories. Even if Cade McNamara, who's an absolute upgrade at offense, if he ends up being hurt or maybe not as advertised, Iowa is still going to get to 8 wins. I mean, their defense and special teams will still be that good. They'll eclipse 7.5, guys. So take over on Iowa 7.5, and you'll be thanking me later. So, guys, that's it. Guys and girls, that's today's episode. So to recap, when it comes down to it, so the 10 teams to take, I'm going to tell you right now. Mississippi State, under. Oregon State, take the over, which, remember, these are via BetMGM. Go over 6.5 for Mississippi State. Go under for Oregon at 9.5. Over for 6.5 for UCF. Under for TCU at 7.5. Over 3.5 for Virginia Tech. Go over 3.5 for Rutgers. Under 8.5 for UCLA. Over 6.5 for Pitt. Under 9.5 for Tennessee. And over 7.5 for Iowa. That's your quick recap. Whew, now breathe. All right, guys, thanks again for being here on this episode of the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. Next week, I am traveling. Probably not going to have an episode coming your way, but I might surprise you guys and do an episode on the road. I'm heading up north back home, Iowa, Illinois, and then heading even further north to Wisconsin. So I'll be all over the Big Ten blueprint next week, leaving the show me state of Missouri for 4 or 5 days. So no promises, but don't be too surprised or shocked if I come at you next week with a very special guest joining me. So until then, guys, subscribe, like, share, rate. Let me know what you think. Hang in there. Enjoy the rest of your week and weekend. And I'll see you soon here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. Take care. Bye-bye.